I've been interested in seeing all of the people that are talking about this. Everybody is arguing, no, they don't get it. It's about this. No, they don't get it. It's about that. You know, it's about oil. It's about drugs. It's about terrorism. It's about Trump and his ego, whatever it is. I want to give you a completely, I think, different perspective on what happened in Venezuela. Let me just say this. It is not about the oil. It's not about drugs. It's not about terrorism. It's not about China. It's not about communism, Marxism, or socialism. It's about all of those things. So if anybody tells you that this is really all about the oil, just listen to them, because they might have a very good point on the oil thing and go, okay, well, that's cute. But that's not all it's about. So let me tell you exactly. This is the first time in my lifetime that we have a president who is not reacting, not managing America's decline, not trying to stabilize a collapsing system. Trump is doing something I have never seen any president do. He is playing to win. And I mean win all of it. Never have I seen this before. Donald Trump has been saying America first, his entire life. It hasn't been a slogan. It's been the way it's his worldview, and it always has been. And whether you like it or not, you like his style or not, you can't deny this truth. The world is splitting apart. And on one side, you have the communists. You have China and parts of the Western Hemisphere that are going communist. You're seeing it in New York, okay? You also have Islamism. This is stretching from Iran throughout the Middle East, and it is also beginning to sweep here in America and beginning to sweep in Europe. You also have authoritarianism, Russia and its satellites. Got it? You also have, and this was what we were left with on all other presidents, you have the discredited globalist middle, this mushy, bureaucratic, elitist system that promises peace and prosperity and delivers nothing but debt, decay, censorship, instability, and war after war after war. That has been discredited, and that is totally collapsing. So what are we going to be? This is so important that you understand this, because this will change the way you view the entire world. What are we going to be? If that mushy middle isn't working, then what are we going to be? Europe has decided they're going to go more fascistic. They're going to go to a global government, and the government is going to control everything, including business. Okay, that's fascism. Like it or not, that's what that is. China, communism. What are we going to be? So into that vacuum comes the decision point for all of humanity, and especially Americans. Because this moment isn't just about geopolitics. This is truly about who sets the table and the agenda for the next 100 years. Who's it going to be? A global government? The Chinese government? AI, some technocratic government? Or the American government? This, like it or not, we are in a war. I've been saying we're in World War III for a while. You just don't realize it yet, because it's going to be fought differently. And hopefully it won't get any worse than this. We're in the fourth industrial revolution. What that means is AI, quantum computing, advanced manufacturing, all of it is going to determine who leads the world. And it is critical. Whoever gets to AI first wins. This is not about speeches, not about summits. There's not about climate panels. This is all about resources, energy, capital, supply chains, data. And I know I already said energy, but let me just say it in a different way. Power. Okay? That's the battlefield. That's what we're playing for. BRICS, the nations, Brazil, India, and the other ones, what they know is they understand that this is a play for the entire world. China, Russia, Iran, Venezuela, Nigeria, India, all of them know not one of them can challenge the United States. But together they can if America continues to decline. And that's what we've lived under George W. Bush, under Barack Obama, under Joe Biden, is a declining America, and they were managing the decline of America. That's why you have been taught for the last 40 years that America is not that special. It's not that great, because they need you to lose faith in America to be able to have it decline and you not to pitch a hissy fit. So they could collapse it into something else. Their stated goal is not a multipolar world. It's not freedom, it's not liberty, but it's a world where no one nation can stop the elites, where the dollar is dethroned, the authoritarian system, whatever it is, flourishes under the cover of balance of power. So we've been putting all those pieces into place. Our government, our congressmen, our senators, our presidents have been saying one thing to our face, but they've been putting all of these things into place for the last 50 years, especially in the last 20 years. This has just been accelerated, and they've been putting it into place and building this system piece by piece, year after year. And then Trump came back. The first time they had to destroy him because they knew he doesn't view the world that way. He doesn't view America that way. He views it differently. He believes America is a special place and needs its own place at the table. They had to destroy him. They thought they were going to keep him out of office. They didn't. And in that 4 years between 20 and 24, he figured a lot out. I mean, I am amazed at what I am seeing. You can disagree with it. But just like I said with the progressive movement that took 100 years to put in place, I have said someday people will study this and go, look at the brilliance of this plan. Look at how they just dismantled the entire West. It is brilliant. It's evil, but it's brilliant. Let me say the same thing. I don't know who the advisors are that he's listening to. I don't know if he just woke up in the middle of the night and he's like, no, this is the way it is. I don't know. But we're going to look back at this time, assuming that it works, and we're going to say, that was brilliant. Do you know that because of Venezuela, we don't need the oil? I'm going to get into this here in a second. We don't need the oil. Do you know that this is the first time since FDR that the world's resources are now back under American, not control, but in friendly territory? That we're the ones that dominate, not just our oil, but the resources. I think it's 50 or 60% of the resources now around the world are now dominant. It wasn't like that 2 years ago. A year ago, it wasn't like that. Okay, so I want to go over, I put a chalkboard up, and if you're watching us at glennbeck.com, you'll see Venezuela, China, Iran, they're all connected. All of these things are connected. And if somebody tells you this is all about the oil, listen to them, because it is, but I don't know if they understand what they're even saying about that, and I'll explain in a second. If they're saying, well, this is about drugs, okay, this is about terror, this is about the hemisphere, this is about the U.S. military and the war machine. Yes, to all of those things. So let me pull them apart. First of all, right now, Venezuela has the largest proven oil reserves on Earth, 303 billion barrels. That's $17+ trillion at the current market value. They also claim about 8,000 to 10,000 tons of gold that is still in ground. Okay. Now, here's the part you're not being told. With all of that oil, we don't need the oil. Have you noticed the gas prices? They keep coming down. We don't need the oil. We need to pull the oil out of the ground ourselves, which we are. We need to refine it ourselves, which we are. China needs the oil. China buys 60 to 90% of all of Venezuela's crude exports. China also buys 85 to 90% of all of the oil from Iran. China also buys nearly half of all Russian oil. What's happening right now? Well, 60 to 90% of all of the exports from Venezuela now not going to China. How is China going to be able to power all of their electricity needs? How are they going to do that if they don't get oil from Venezuela? Oh, and what else has been destabilized this weekend? Iran. They buy 85 to 90% of all of the oil in Iran, and those are huge oil reserves as well. So when people say this isn't about oil, or this is about oil, the argument goes back and forth. No, it's not about oil. We don't need it. No, it absolutely is about oil, but not for us. This is about Donald Trump, again, playing to win the long game. You're not going to have any of the oil from Western allies. Not going to happen. We don't need you to win because you have all of the energy. You're not going to do it. We need the energy. The West needs the energy, and you're not pulling it out of our hemisphere. Okay, if Iran and Venezuela fall at the same time, China loses 70% of its non-U.S. regulated oil supply. 70%. What else does that mean besides AI? You lose 70% of your oil from that's non-U.S. You lose 70%. What else can't you do? Well, you can't go into Taiwan. You certainly can't have a war with Taiwan. You can't have AI dominance. There's no BRICS reserve currency. So just on the oil front, absolutely it's about oil, but not the way everybody, oh, that's because Exxon's going to get rich. No, because if you shut down the oil, no war in Taiwan because they don't have the energy to do it, no AI dominance because they won't have the energy to do it, and no BRICS currency. Game over for now. That's why this matters. And that's only one piece of this. Here's what Marco Rubio said over the weekend. We don't need Venezuela's oil. What we're not going to allow, however, is for the oil industry in this hemisphere to be controlled by adversaries of the United States. Is that imperialism? Or is that the defense of the hemisphere? I want you to know, and we'll talk about this later, because I think we have a George AI today after this show. I think, and we'll talk to Jason about this, I think George AI is going to talk about act of war and, you know, what the founders thought about foreign entanglements and everything else. But we can argue about the constitutionality of what Donald Trump did. Does he have the right to do it? Well, I don't know. I think he does. I don't necessarily like it, but I also don't like the fact that Congress would have to be involved on short-term things. The way it's generally been played is I think it's 30 or 45 days he can go in and do something in defense of the country, and then they have to approve any ongoing things with 30 or 45 days. And I'm kind of comfortable with that. But we can argue about that. There's you know, strict constitutionalists who say absolutely not. And you know what? You might be right. There are other people who say, no, he has the right. And you know what? I have a harder time believing that, no, he can do whatever he wants. That's not true. But we can argue about it. What you cannot argue about is if you say you're America first. This isn't America first. This is absolutely America first. This is the most America first thing I have ever seen. Notice another thing. Trump is not just confronting our enemies. He's stealing alliances. The UAE don't like a lot of the stuff in the Middle East. But notice they're not being bombed. They're being courted. Why? Why? Because power flows through relationships, not just weapons. This is all about blocking Iran, China, and Russia. Thank you for thinking for yourself and being part of a movement, because that's really what all of this is. If you want the full story, you want to go deeper, go to blazetv.com/Glenn. Go there right now, sign up, no interruptions, just the truth, uncensored and unfiltered. Don't just watch, take a stand. And I'll see you over there in a minute.